Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to another brand new episode. Today's features Columbia, Missouri-based Mary and the Giant. Had a lot of fun catching up with them. This was recorded the night before their album release party up in Columbia, Missouri. And had a lot of fun hanging with them, talking about their reunion, talking about the brand new album. And we have a lot of fun with this one. Hope you enjoy it. You're going to get a little sneak peek at the record, but it is available now on all your streaming platforms. And you can find more from Mary and the Giant on your Facebook and Instagram. So get plugged in, and hopefully we'll get some more dates and things coming soon from those guys. But yeah, do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs. Over 25 rotating taps over there. So I'm sure they have a beverage just right for you. If you can't stick around, you can always get your bunch of your favorites to go in can form. They got a bunch of to-goes, and you can take the party wherever you go. And if you do want us to come up there and hang out, though, they've got great food, all kinds of burgers, nachos, flatbread pizzas, pretzels, and all kinds of your bar favorites. And you got the patio, but it might be getting a little chilly now for enjoying the patio, but keep it in mind. And you got your live music happening over there. And then this Saturday night, you can catch Josh Liddig at the Pittman location in historic downtown Wentzville, 7 to 10 o'clock. And you've heard me talk about it, but they recently launched the brand new location in Flint Hill, Missouri. Same great beer, whole new dining experience, though, over there from the folks at Duke's. They got the Fly High Kitchen now going. And you can catch Corey Clapper there on Saturday, November 11th, 7 to 10. And great way to celebrate your Veterans Day. So come on out and grab a cold drink and have a good time at Friendship Brewing Company. And also be on the lookout for a brand new location coming very soon to Hannibal, Missouri area. You can find more information at friendshipbrewingcompany.com. Be sure to plug in with them on your Facebook and Instagram. And they are also, for the holidays, they are doing a Toys for Tots toy donation location right there at the Wentzville location. And you can bring in a toy and you can get a beer. Yeah, for each toy donation, you can get a Friendship Brewing beer on the house. So great deal. Help some kids and get some cold beverages and have a great time at Friendship Brewing Company. Again, friendshipbrewingcompany.com. Go out there and support your local beer. And if you need anything from me, you can always find me at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you all. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with Mary and the Giant.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hi, we're Mary and the Giant. And you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. podcast. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out in Columbia, Missouri with Mary and the Giant. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey,
Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
This is very cool. I love it up here. It's always a good time when I come up this way, and usually it's for some good live music. And I've been up here for a few different podcasts over the years, but this is always a lot of fun for me. And but this is my first time getting to meet majority of the band here today. So this is it's always fun for me on doing the show is getting to meet new people. And so I guess before we get rolling too far, do you guys want to go around the mics and say hi, introduce yourselves for everyone?
Sure. I'm John Marino. I play the bass.
Zach Fittis, I am the lead vocalist.
Michael Scambry, I played the fiddle.
Don Mayall, drums.
And I'm Jason Cook, and I play guitar.
Yeah, and this is very cool because I guess it's been a while since you've all really been in the same room together, right?
Yeah.
year.
I mean,
About a year since we
Right.
played.
2 years since the show.
2 years
Right.
since the show. We've recorded an album in the meantime, but
Right.
yeah.
And
Last July, I think, was the last time we were all together.
yeah. So we it's been a little while, and then and then I was looking at looking to get an idea of the timeline. I guess it's been close to a decade, right, between records,
Yeah.
something like that.
I think,
Yeah, I think Welcome Back to Now dropped in 2013. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so on the nose, I think almost 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
crazy.
wild to think about. But yeah, we're here celebrating a brand new record, and but I figured since I don't know a whole lot about the group, I thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and get an idea what things were like when this group got started. I know you guys were based up here, so I guess was school that brought you guys all together, or?
Yeah. So we, when was it? 2008. And John and Jason are from the St. Louis area. I'm from Central Illinois. I came down to school here at Mizzou. I met these guys. We lived in the same dorm together. We had a table over at Stafford Hall. We would play music nightly, became fast friends, started up a band, started playing, coffee shops, little small places. Michael came into the fray a little later. He was working at a Cracker Barrel.
Shout out.
And Cracker Barrel. Great people. And Jason said, "Hey, I know this guy. He plays the violin."
To be clear, Jason also worked at Cracker Barrel.
I did, and also to be clear, Mike told me he was coming over.
Oh, he demanded he was
just said,
coming
"I'm
over
to jam with you guys tonight."
Yeah, and Mike showed up, and he was just like, we never even thought about the violin, the fiddle, whatever you want to call it. And we started playing. We built up, a decent following around here. Band broke up. Sorry.
It's very concise.
No, I was getting wistful. And like 10 years later, we get back together, and Mike's like, I got this drummer. He wears matching sweatsuits. He'd be a really good fit. And we're like, whatever, man. And Don showed up, and he was kind of this final piece of the puzzle, and we recorded this record. So
Yeah. What? So that's you said 2008
when we started.
Yeah.
And there was a period of time where the band existed without Zach as well. The iteration after he left originally, where we brought on another lead singer who had previously been doing percussion in the band. And
Shout out Frankie Jupiter.
And that iteration probably lasted about 6 months to a year, maybe. It just never quite had the same feeling that was there before. And I ended up moving back to St. Charles shortly after that, which left Mike and John basically running the show with a different drummer and a few other members, and eventually it just kind of dissipated. So I think probably the last time Mary and the Giant played in any fashion prior to this was whenever that Gar Wars thing was, I guess, in like 2018 or 17 or something. But there was definitely a fractured time frame, after all of that, where there was, I think all of us probably thought we were never going to be in the same room together ever again. Not even the thought of playing again or writing an album again. So it's been really awesome. And special shout out to Mike, who was the one that instigated us kind of all getting back together
Nice.
and over the pandemic. So really grateful that he took that leap and shot us a message and said, so are we doing this or what? And I think we all just kind of unanimously were like, hell yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah.
So,
It was really nice to hear from these guys.
What? No, I mean I know quite a bit, but there's still a ton I don't know. But Columbia has always feel like it's been rich in music up here. A lot of people that I'm close friends with now, Sean Cannon and Pat Kay, and a lot of these guys like got started up here and things, and then like so who were you guys like playing a lot of shows with? And do you have a couple bands that you remember sharing bills with in the early days?
There's a bunch. Some that are still around. We I think one of our first couple of shows we were opening up for the Hoot and Hollers.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, man.
We played with Don't Mind Dying, Many Colored Death, and then there were Moonrunner, a handful of bands that are no longer around.
Man in the Ring.
Did have a Hip Neck show. Played with
Hip Neck show.
Next to Stingrays.
Stingrays.
Just a
And at the time, there were,
so many venues.
just a wealth of great bands.
five or
it's
6 more venues that existed.
Yeah, just like you could go see a show on a Friday night here and pay $5, and there were
Ben Hinkebine, we played with him a bunch.
sure,
Yeah.
and there were just outstanding groups. The music scene was so vibrant. Everyone was so welcoming to us. I think we started out just wanting to even be somewhat around these bands, and then as soon enough you're playing with them, and everyone was just very receptive of us, and it's just what a rich music scene. It was awesome.
There was a cool bleed over as well with back when we played at the Blue Fugue and stuff, and then also a big area that we used to play when we were kind of first cutting our teeth was the Tin Can, which had an open mic night, and there was just a wealth of incredible musicians there, and we ended up making a few friends in the hip hop scene as well. We ended up collaborating, and they would come join us for live performances and stuff. So there was
Shout out Belligerent.
Belligerent for
Hey,
sure.
Miles.
But it was a really vibrant scene that really, I think, bred creativity. Like everyone was excited to be playing, and like Zach said, there was no shortage of a place to go see a show pretty much any night of the week. And I think it's definitely gotten a lot harder to book in Columbia, I feel like, as far as the amount of venues that are still around and things like that. It definitely makes me miss the old days when there was 5 bars that had live music walking up and down the street no matter where you were, which was pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's cool to hear, like, too, because as you're mentioning some of the different groups, like, I was trying to picture what some of these bills and if they were, like, where you guys really fit in with bands, with the sound-wise, and, or if it was mixed genre bills and stuff, like, because I feel like there's a lot of different influences come through the sound, so I feel like it can kind of blend with a lot of different groups, so which is I think is a lot of fun.
I remember playing some metal, opening for some metal bands at East Side.
Yeah, East Side Tavern.
we opened for Guster once. That was
hated
cool.
us.
Metalheads, no, they loved it.
I forgot we did open for Guster.
Loved it.
Yeah, we opened for Guster once at Jesse Auditorium, which was really cool. And I had a really bad penchant for breaking strings back then. And I remember Mike cornered me right before we went on stage, and he said, if you break a string, I'm going to fucking kill you. And I was just, I didn't break a string, but I was like just terrified the whole time.
No, I think the threat of violence was always what kind of kept us going.
That definitely helped,
band.
yeah.
It was good.
That was also the first time we played to a sold out room, and it was at a properly sized theater.
Yeah, Jesse
too, so
Auditorium. That was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was neat.
I remember it being a really good show too, so I was proud of that.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Yeah.
And they were cool as shit. They
were
were
awesome.
super
Yeah,
friendly.
they had their kids on the bus, and it was just amazing to watch guys who were just sort of like workman-like musicians who, they had these lives, they had kids, they had wives, and they brought them along with them, and they were so nice to us, and they didn't have to be, and they came into our dressing room, and
That was really nice.
they were really cool.
I remember
Probably don't remember us at all, but
No, of course not. Are you kidding me? Yeah, not
I
a
remember I
chance.
sound checked my guitar with Sugar Sugar by Baby Bash, and the guitarist for Guster was out there, one of them, and he's like, "Is that Sugar Sugar?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you teach me how to play that?" I was like, "Sure." That was pretty.
They were wonderful people. Yeah, shout out Guster.
Yeah.
Can I got to stop saying shout out.
No, say whatever you want.
I think I started that, so you
Okay.
can blame it on me.
We're trying to get corporate sponsorship from
Right.
Cracker Barrel. So.
Sure. Philip Morris, we're out here.
No.
So you said, I guess Mike kind of started the conversation to get together, start recording new music. Is that was the case?
He did, yeah. It was, So 2020 during the pandemic, probably April, and he sent a text. I assumed he was sending it to someone else. But it went to us,
It was a
and-
Facebook message.
Yeah,
actually.
no. But essentially, I only pretty much play music, and I'm lived down in Arkansas, and I pretty much do it full time. So I'm always like scheming and thinking of new ways to just have as many creative projects going as I can. And like Jason mentioned, we had done a reunion show about in 2018 without Zach, with our other lead singer that had been there.
I was also not.
And that was fun.
Show.
And yeah, Jason was not there. That went really well, but I was just kind of scheming, like, man, I'd like to, have some more stuff creatively to work on, and like these guys kind of popped in my head, and then I was kind of dwelling on it, and I was like, I kind of decided if I could get Dawn on board to come in, and because we didn't have a drummer when this iteration of the band was there, and the songs very much lend themselves to. We used to, after every show, it was, "You guys are great, but you really need a drummer. Get a drummer," and it got kind of old hearing it. But so I played with Dawn and two other bands, Opal Agafia, and then my band called Red Oak Ruse. So I've been playing with Dawn for years now, and I just kind of knew, not only like style wise, but just personality wise, he's kind of somebody that can come in and just kind of be an anchor for like. Because there was I didn't really know how it was going to go with the reunion. I knew there would be all love, but you never know. You haven't seen people in 10 years, it's kind of scary. So in my mind, just, I just kind of saw the vision of like having Dawn come along as sort of like just somebody fresh to like, kind of just brighten things up. And also stylistically, I knew that he could play this. And it's a kind of a different, unique style of music. A lot of changes and stuff. So I knew that his diversity and ability would be perfect. So I just called Don. I was like, "Are you interested?" And to my shock, he was like, "Yeah, sure." Because I was like, I'm about to go up there in a few weeks to like meet and start. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." And I knew I had a great feeling about it. And I brought it to the guys, and they were rightfully a little skeptical. They're like, a new person. It's been 10 years.
I didn't know he had a ponytail.
They were.
I don't think he did at the time.
They were concerned
Okay.
about like the drums, but I think they were just mainly concerned of how a new person would mesh.
Sure.
I think I'm a little, and I've made my apologies to Don, but I was the most vocal about not like being on board at first
And
because
he had to drive home. He had to drive to Columbia by himself because of you.
is that true? Is that
Oh, that's
is
what
that how it
That's
happened?
what Hyper said. Don, is that true?
I plead the fifth.
but I and I think there was an element of protectiveness too, because the way that the band transitioned on after Zach left, it definitely felt like we had kind of lost this autonomy and control over what we were wanting to do, and it's something that we all cared so much about and were passionate about that having the original lineup back again, I was like vocally like I don't know if I want to do this, and it was an instant fit. I think no one would disagree that like it was pretty much almost like immediately we were all vibing.
Within
Yeah.
10 minutes of him arriving, they were just like, I kind of walked away, and they were just all just best.
We like
buds
stay up to like
immediately. I
4
was
a.m. playing whiskey or playing poker and drinking whiskey.
Yeah,
that
Don's
first night.
the man. Don is an absolute blessing to
So
have
again,
in this
Don,
band.
my sincere apologies.
And he's on top of that, he's a great drummer as well. So we were very lucky to have him, and I'm sorry about that.
And he's also very patient. That was another thing I knew because like our writing process is pretty grinding out. It's
Were you originally was your original intention for us to write new music? I think that to me that was kind of a surprise that came out of the first summit was that we were writing music, whereas I originally thought we were just going to be kind of jamming on old stuff and hanging out.
Well, so that we didn't have drums on those albums. So for Don, it was all new. It was all kind of writing his own parts to the music. Because we were.
I feel like we wanted to play a show.
We did.
Was the original goal.
I don't remember.
But I think starting to write new music just kind of happened, and we were like stoked that it was still there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but
I think the original idea was for all of us to get together, and then we were going to play a reunion show
because we did it in 2018, and we wanted to do it with Zach.
It's really nice.
We've regretted it ever since.
And then I think after we got that show under our belt, we were all just kind of like, yeah, let's do this again. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, Jason, and then I think at one point I kind of encouraged, because Jason's like always writing like stuff on guitar and just like just in the woodshed, and so I kind of encouraged him to send Zach some stuff before we got together, or before the second or third time we got together. And then Zach, so they had been kind of working on stuff on the side, so that it did take a while. So we had the second gathering. We were calling them summits and making shirts and everything. It was dumb.
That was awesome.
Shout out Iconic.
Yeah.
The second gathering, we had like 2 or 3 just shells of songs. Like, okay, this works. And then when a couple months later, I think we did 2 meetings in a year. And the second time, it really started to we're like, okay, there's really something here now. And then we kind of whittled it down to 7 songs. And yeah.
I mean, the bulk of those songs, at least like the skeletons of them, came through like 3 days probably total of actually playing, and I will say that at least for me, out of any project that I've ever been a part of, it's the absolute easiest to write and create with this band. I mean, there's like an insane symbiosis that exists in the way that we go through stuff, and
there's a good formula too. Like it's always been the same because it works. We've never essentially Jason and Zach will just throw some ideas around, and if there's anything good, it's like then it comes to the band, and then we all start, and then then it becomes it kind of snowballs because there's an idea already there, and then me and John always have creative input, to add instantly. So that's how it's always from the get, pretty much. I mean, there's been a few times we kind of all wrote together from the start when we had time to practice once a week, but essentially, that's the shell comes to the band, and then but he's right, it solidifies immediately.
It's crazy.
It all happened so fast when we were together, but we were also fresh into the lockdown, and we all live in 3 different states, so it was another one of those things too where it would be like 5 months, 6
that
months
was a
before
factor
we could get
too
together.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it was like I was bored at home during the pandemic. I was like, this would be the perfect time, because I know these guys have full-time jobs, and I was like, it's going to be impossible to ever get together, and it just provided that opportunity for a lot of people to reach in and do things they've been wanting to do for a long time. So.
Yeah,
we had a lot of time, to craft them and work through them once the skeletons were there, and kind of workshop them. And there's an energy to it that's almost like. It's when you're in a band that's working together and you're practicing every week, I think sometimes you can take it for granted. And this was like, I haven't seen these dudes in 6 months. We're going to work on these new songs. We're going to get to hang out for a weekend. And there's a real undercurrent of excitement that permeated that entire time and just kept people energized to keep at it. And I think that's something that can get lost in the shuffle sometimes when you're playing every week and you just kind of take it as BAU that you're going to be doing that, versus being genuinely excited to be creating something new with the guys you play with. So
yeah. So when do you give Wes a call? You record all this with Wes Wingate.
Wes
right?
Wingate?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think that
what's
was
he doing
closer
tonight?
to. Okay, so our most recent album, Welcome Back to Now, he produced. So he was in there producing. We worked closely with him when he owned the Bridge as a venue, and we just became really close. I think we had we had the songs. Oh, that's right. We wanted to show Wes just as
we
a
invited
friend.
him over.
Yeah, he came over on one of the summits and listened to. And I think he was kind of taken aback. He's like, "Oh wow, this is he was really
This doesn't
enjoying.
suck.
He was really enjoying it, and he
doesn't
art
mince
I
words.
worked with." And then we kind of just discussed. We have a Facebook group chat that we stay in contact with each other. And when say in contact, I mean there's communication every single day, pretty much. It's funny. But
Wes is, and sorry to interrupt, but Wes is. We knew he was somebody we were really comfortable with. He's somebody that, anytime you're recording a record or writing songs, you need somebody that's like objectively able to say like this doesn't work.
You're Ruben.
This works, and Wes is painfully honest with us. So
and he also knows us really well, so he knows
does,
how to
yeah.
interact with the different personalities and give tough
Correct.
love where it's due, and then
Yeah.
be really gentle with.
he's a
where it's
coach,
due.
man, right? Like he was brilliant. Just from a nostalgia factor, I love having him around. I mean, Wes is fantastic, and he played keys on a couple
some
songs
Moog,
on
played
the
some
record.
keys,
Yeah, just being able to say, "Hey, this sucks. This doesn't."
Right.
Wouldn't want anyone else to work on that record, and I'm
Yeah,
I'm
he has
so
a
happy.
fantastic ear for music.
He does.
so it
Wes
was
is
really
Wes is
helpful.
one of my honestly favorite songwriters. I mean, he knows his way around a song. So
Yeah, I just saw
kudos to him. I mean, I don't like him. Can I say that?
Yeah.
But
I just saw him not too long ago. He played in St. Louis with Money for Guns for their album release party, and so it was nice to see him do a solo set on the piano and guitar, and it was just like it was really it was a fun day.
And I'm actually in Wes's Light Bloomers band. I'm the fiddle player for him.
Oh,
so.
nice, yeah.
just a dude who really breathes music, and someone you want around the process. So.
He also worked with Pete Skolka a lot, who was we recorded at his
The
studio.
Okay.
And they had a long working history, so it also made it just that much easier to go into the studio with him. He also played on the album. He played piano.
Yeah. Well, this so the record we've mentioned a couple of times, and in recording this is titled "Sadness for a Moment." Now available on all your digital platforms and everything. And but I say we give a little listen if anybody hasn't got to hear it yet. And let's start with 1836 Teton Drive. This was released as a single initially, right?
Yep.
And but this, I really enjoy the whole record, but this one stood out as a favorite.
Thanks, man.
Early on, and it was just I found myself quickly singing along to it, which was is always a good start to.
Yeah, right on.
It's like it has that kind of quality to it with the chorus and stuff. So
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
Appreciate that.
It's gonna get loud tonight. Bobby won't make it home in time. He's at the KFC on Radnor. Feels like it's been all summer. And Graceland's on repeat again. And you can call me anything, as long as you ain't sleeping in. I got a double every lobster. Borrowed money for a hooligan. I got to know my friends again. Hey, it's alright. And I've been having dreams. Sometimes hear echoes from a former life. Oh, for the night. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar down on 1836 Teton Drive. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar down on 1836 Teton Drive. I think I might be in love. I think I should be on drugs. For fuck's sake, you're the third Kate I met this month, and you were kind enough. But is this what you want? And Every night like the 4th, and every sun like the 5th. And any baggage I had just carried up in the wind. I think I'm gonna sit still, I take it all in. Borrow money for a mulligan, I got to know myself again. Hey, it's just fine. But I'm still having dreams sometime here. Echoes from another life. Oh, for the night. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar down on 1836 T-Town Drive. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar down on 1836 T-Town Drive. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar. Goddamn, those were the days. Still comes up all the time. We turn that room into a bar down on 1836 T-Town Drive.
That's an address that he lived at.
Okay.
Yeah, so I moved back from Columbia when I left the band initially, and
Quit the band.
oh, I quit the band. Yeah, they're letting me never letting me let
you
that
can
down.
craft the narrative around it if you want.
And I moved in with 3 of my very good friends in my hometown of Peoria, Illinois, to a house called 1836 Teton Drive, and it was just it was a place that I just kind of got my feet under me and was able to sort of springboard myself back into some semblance of sanity. And I'd always wanted to write a song about it, and that's 1836 Teton Drive.
Nice. Yeah, man.
They turned a room into a bar.
We did. We built this great bar in the dining room, and Jay and I were talking on the phone one night, and I said, "What about? Goddamn, those were the days." And that that hook just went from there. I reverse engineered it, and we played it down here, and it was just like
It's like a deconstructed salad.
That's a winner, I guess.
Well, it's fun for me too because in a lot, there's a back and forth with the initial songwriting process where sometimes I'll send Zach a guitar part, and then he'll come back and like, hey, that's cool. I let me work with it. Sends me a melody eventually. But this was one where he, I like when he comes to me with a chorus and says, "This is what I'm thinking for it," because it's like I get these guideposts to kind of create, but it's very easy to write to his melodies. And I had an initial feeling once we first crafted this one, it kind of came, really quickly, and we sent it to the guys right away. And Zach always, when it's good, this is a hit. And that, I think there was that initial feeling with that one that it was
caveat. It's not a hit yet.
Not a hit.
Okay, so
it's a hit to me.
It's a hit to me.
For us, we loved it. And I think the first night we played it down in the basement at John's house, and I just think we loved it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, especially now knowing a little bit more of the story, hearing about you guys have the history, and we're putting out this new record, first one in a decade, singing about those were the days. It seems very appropriate that this was the lead single to kick off this record and stuff.
And even if the song is about my personal experience in specific. I think people can apply it to their own.
Right. We think about college or high school
Sure.
or whatever that era is for them. It's open enough to interpretate into your own story and stuff, which I think is nice. So
Yeah, absolutely, man.
but yeah, I think everybody has those starts flashing back when you hear, and even if it is your story, you think about, man, I think about the guys I grew up with and stuff like those things like that. So
It's a nostalgic
that's awesome,
sounding
right?
song. It does just sound nostalgic to me.
for sure.
And I think I wanted to. Nostalgia's great, right? And it's good to remember, and it's good to be appreciative of those things that kind of formed you. But it's also like it's a little bit of a cage too, and you want to move forward. And I think some of the other songs on the record address that. And so not to go off topic here, but
Yeah.
And also is one of my favorite lines in the album, which is it's simple, but it's that when I think I'm going to sit still and take it all in, and I think that that's something that is a really important part of growth and pushing yourself forward, is taking that time to reflect and be content where you are in the moment, especially with how fast life moves these days. But in creative situations and this kind of energy, I think it's hard for any of us to really rest on our laurels. You always feel like you got to be doing something, pushing forward. So that line is something that every time I hear it, I try to make a mental note to be better about that and spend more time appreciating where I am instead of worrying about where I'm going. And I think this song does a great job of illustrating that point.
That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. You mentioned Teton also in a second time on the record too, right?
on gospel.
I think he mentions it in every song.
In every song.
A
lot of this album is just the geography of Peoria.
Yeah, it's the geography of my hometown. Wes is funny because he's a dick, and he. But we recorded the record. I was on the Amtrak going home, and he goes, "I had a couple notes," and he said, "Number one, Fittis, is this entire record about Teton Drive?"
This is a concept album about Teton
and
Drive.
it's not, but there are through lines there, right?
Sure.
And like there are things that just, it's a bit of a love poem to my hometown and just to growing up and.
Well, the other one I just mentioned is Gospel, right?
Gospel,
which is a song about his wife.
I wrote that for my wife.
And I think it gives it a nice continuity because it's
element. It's not a concept album, but it's like
the first time Teton's mentioned, you're getting your shit together, and the next time it's mentioned, you're with your soon-to-be wife. So I mean, there's a element of storyline there, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But then you say it like 37 times in the last. You just go Teton, 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 and we're like,
the one song is just called Teton. That was a little much. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
That hit the cutting room floor.
No, it was just it's just a big part of me. It's a big part of who I am, and I mentioned it twice. Sue me.
I will say immediately, like when we first met Zach in the dorms, one of the first things that John and I commented about was this dude never shuts up about Peoria. It's like, why don't you just
Shout
go
out
back to
309,
Peoria?
shout out to P, shout out Peoria. I love you.
So I did this songwriter series for 2017 to March 2020. And I had one night I had two of the main vocalists and songwriters of Old Capitol Square Dance Club, Jesse and Zach, and I had Dave Manis of the Manis Brothers sitting in with them. So there's the three of them sitting on stools, and they're going. And Jesse and Zach are both from
They're like right across the river, aren't they?
man, blanking on the name of the town now.
Edwardsville,
No,
Alton, Collinsville,
O'Fallon,
Vandalia.
Pekin.
Vandalia.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
From Vandalia, Illinois. And so they're playing, and of course all their songs are about that town and like growing up there and stuff. And then and Dave just like so deadpan just goes, they're getting ready to cue up another one. He goes, "Let me guess, another song about Vandalia." and it was just so perfect.
I love it.
But I just love that he called him out on it and like that. And but like I said, it's not write what you know though, right? You gotta.
I think so. I think I spent a lot of time in the earlier incarnation of Mary and the Giant writing about my experience as it happened, and I just wanted to sort of look back on where I come from, where I don't know.
Yeah.
The old Mary and the Giant songs were fun too, because Zach would be like very cryptic about what he was writing about, because a lot of times he was writing about like the relationship experiences of the other band members, and sometimes we'd be like, this is about so and so, isn't it? And he's like, no. And then like later on, John would be like, you know that song's about you, right? And I'm like, I fucking knew it.
I'm pretty sure Zach's a liar. I'm pretty sure they were all about him.
Yeah. It's like, he just put himself in those situations. But
I think part of our uniqueness, like as from our sound, comes from like Zach. He just like does the melody and the lyrics. You know, he doesn't play an instrument, but
Correction, I can't play an instrument.
he doesn't. He chooses not to. And so, I mean, as somebody who writes songs, like, you know, you're often sitting down with a guitar and trying to workshop. So there's a unique perspective when you're not, you don't have almost that cage of like trying to work with your hands. And he's able to just write really uniquely, in my opinion. And one of the examples I was giving Don is, you know, sometimes when we were writing stuff, we'd like break into an instrumental, and he would just have an idea and just sing over it, which is not something like somebody that plays would do. Like, you're not, you know, but he just, mainly because they're like, oh, this is, the vocals are happening, so I can't have this, these distractions or whatever. Whereas he's just like, I want to sing a part here. And so we don't really have many sections that are just instrumental, because he'll just throw some lyrics and a melody over it, which I think is cool and unique, you know? So
yeah,
there's a lead part going and a lead melody going. It's cool. So
yeah.
I mean, at the core too, I think a lot of our songs, despite the unique structures or the stops or the changes or whatever, like, they're pop songs, you know, and they're at their core. So there is kind of that continuity aspect of like the structure being with the verse and the chorus and the bridge. And I think, you know, Zach is absolutely a student of pop music from every era, you know, pretty much. And I think that's one of the things that really comes together to give it a unique sound, because musically we're exploring a lot of different spaces, but that kind of common through element is that, you know, Zach is singing a pop song, which I think makes it fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's like a lot of different sounds, obviously, like, but like I feel like it's very unique, like the blend that you guys offer. I think one being that you offer violin and stuff. There's not a ton being represented, especially in this, like, I don't know. And I feel like on the radio in general, but I think like this.
it's usually a background thing, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like,
Yellow Card used to be like the first thing. It would be like, oh, we're like a rock band that like features the fiddle as a lead instrument. They're like, oh, like Yellow Card. It's like, no, we don't sound like Yellow Card, man.
No hate against Yellow Card.
Yeah. Shout out Yellow Card.
Shout out Fiddles.
But this, like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know really what you guys, you know, talking about pop being pop, but I don't know, like, if it kind of qualifies as like some of it in like alt country or type of feeling of some sort. Like, but I just feel like some of these songs, especially like you look at like a resurgence with like Turnpike Troubadours and you know,
Tyler
Childers and all these. Like, I mean, like, I feel like if you guys got lumped in on one of those playlists and stuff, it would do.
That'd be cool, because I think a lot of the women would like us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's really hard to describe.
Right.
And I don't say that in like a pretentious way. I just don't know what to compare it to. It's not bluegrass. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think you have. I mean, like, but I feel like there's certain songs that would definitely blend with some of those, you know, guys that are doing that. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's high praise. I think we're all fans of those guys. Right. There's a cat on me right now. I don't know if you can hear it.
Well, let's, we got one more tune we want to highlight off of this record. And this is a song called Weight of the Moon. And what comes around when you guys think about Weight of the Moon? Anything?
Weight of the Moon is just a song about, honestly, it's about, like, you know, not enjoying yourself and having anxiety and being nervous and thinking, you know, like, and being mad at yourself because you're mad, right? Because, you know, you have everything in the world. You have everything you need. You were handed the moon, but you're still not okay. And it's kind of a little bit. I rode on an Amtrak train going down to St. Louis, and it's also. But I wanted to. I also wanted to say, hey, like, Monday's over. I think tomorrow will be better than today. It's like, how do you steel yourself and get better, even though it feels insurmountable at the time? And we end that with everything blooms again. Something I take solace in. It's still a beautiful world. So just trying to appreciate just the moment and be present. And that's Way to the Moon.
And this was the first single that we released for it. And kind of the thinking behind that was that it came across stylistically to us as like the most similar to the old stuff. A nice tie. There's that. It's a violin intro, and it sort of echoes a song that we on our very first record, "Beg Me Please," as a fiddle intro that's very similar. So there was just the continuity there to just kind of reintroduce ourselves, and for the old fans that would recognize that sound.
All three of them.
I get overwhelmed, tell myself it's just as well. Do you deserve something else? There's no emptiness, just you and all your shit, and you're in love with it. Do the self-meds work? Does your ego hurt? Is it getting worse? You're happy, look at you, crushed by the weight of being handed the moon. Is anything that you believe would come to pass ever ended up like this? You can dwell on yesterday, I'm sure as hell it's not coming back. Monday's over, think tomorrow might be better than today. I'm sick of fearing my own shadow more than things that I can't change. I get overwhelmed, gotta trick myself, think I deserve something else. Some sort of emptiness, think I can live with this, with no halo around. Do the self-meds work? Don't they make you tired? Think you could give it a while? I'm coming down again, accept the frame I'm in, yeah, accept the weight of the world. Has anything that you believe would come to pass ever ended up like this? You can dwell on yesterday, I'm sure as hell it's not coming back. Monday's over, think tomorrow might be better than today. I'm sick of fearing my own shadow, serving penance I can't change. Everything blooms again, something I take solace in. It's still a beautiful world. It's still a beautiful world. It's still a beautiful world. It's still a beautiful world.
I would say also this song, just breaking down more lines that mean a lot to me from this album, it has my favorite line from the album, which Z just said, that everything blooms again, something I take solace in. It's still a beautiful world, which I think is just a really nice way to encapsulate, how, again, we don't always remain present and we can get so bogged down with everything going on. But I also really like the line in the bridge where he asks, has anything that you believed would, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. Has anything that you believed would come to pass ever ended up like that?
Yeah, just talking about like catastrophic thinking.
Yeah, and
kind of
those worst case scenario things. And I really like that line as well, because it's another thing that kind of makes you reflect, and you think, a lot of times anxiety works in the way that as soon as whatever you're worrying about, happens or doesn't happen, you keep living life. But it's interesting to kind of reflect on all the myriad things you've worried about going wrong that never actually happened, and kind of take stock from that perspective, which I think is another cool turn of phrase, and something that I have definitely hung onto since we first wrote the song. So I no hyperbole, and I hate to inflate Zach's ego anymore, but he's definitely one of my favorite lyricists of all times. And I always
glad to know what a cool guy you think I am.
And I really, really look forward to anytime I get new lyrics from him. And I think his ability to write songs that are accessible while still being deeply personal is a really rare talent. And I'm excited to work with him every time I get the chance to. So,
Yeah.
Hey, you.
Well, we should also probably note that we are recording this the day before your guys' album release party, which is very exciting. You guys will be at Rose and celebrating this record. And Michael mentioned some of the older songs and stuff. Some of those making the set list for the night.
There's a mix, yeah. It'll start. We'll kind of start it with some of the old stuff, play the album through, and then end with some surprises. So.
Yeah. It's going to be cool. I'm glad that you guys are getting the opportunity to do this, to celebrate this record with
Shane, are you coming?
I'm going to try, man. I really enjoy this record a lot, and I would love to see it live, because I've never been to a Mary and the Giant show.
Really?
Yeah. So, cool.
Well, we haven't played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like 10 years, but
6 years.
I don't know if he was around back then.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
So if you can make it work.
Well, it's cool, because I've met Jason and Michael through other projects, through St. Louis and stuff, and seen them play. So it's and I know Jason's mentioned this project in the past, and finally getting to see it all come together and stuff with new music and things, I don't know. So it's just fun for me as a fan, of these guys, to see this other project coming back together and stuff is cool. So,
well, thanks. If I may say, you're a podcasting legend, and I've always wanted to do one with you.
Yeah.
So, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm really glad we can make this happen.
Yeah, dude, this is cool. And I just want to also point out that Mike's legs are really exposed right now.
I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out that not only is our illustrious Marino here in another band that's active in Columbia called Bad Names, but they will be in St. Louis in December playing a show with us at the Heavy Anchor. So if you're curious about any of the other aspects of these things as well, John's
when
band is
us,
I was going to say that's Ben Diesel.
Sorry,
right?
with Ben Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in St. Louis. Well, we're not playing a show in St. Louis. So my apologies. It's playing with Ben Diesel up there, but
we could be.
Yeah, shout out Bad Names.
Don, anything to add? Haven't heard much from our drummer here.
Yeah, he hadn't said anything. He said he pleaded the fifth.
yeah.
Wow.
Have you enjoyed this process?
It's okay. So I've got to be honest here.
Not really.
So this is going back when I had joined the group in 2020, and Mikey had asked me, off the cuff, hey, do you want to join this group? I'm going up to Columbia. We're going to go party with these guys. They're a lot of fun. I really enjoy the music, and you might dig this project. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, let's do that. So we come down here, and just like he said, we got along really well, and these guys had a lot of fun partying with them, and then we started playing music, and there was just the only way that you could describe it was magical. I mean, the chemistry was there. It was really, really cool. But as the night progressed,
Here we go.
this is the most interesting part, and this is factual too, right? This is my first time meeting these guys. I didn't know them from Adam, right? Jason knows where I'm going with this.
Exactly.
And it's actually been mentioned a couple of times that Zach had quit the band throughout the years. Well, this very same shit happened this night. And so, yeah, I mean, Zach started, it started with whiskey and one shot too many. And all of a sudden, he's legit quitting the band. This is my first night meeting these guys. I'm like, oh, this is a great project. It's so magical and everything's going well. And then the lead singer gets drunk off his ass off whiskey and decides to quit the band.
On the
Legit.
microphone, quite loud.
Honey whiskey for the
It was
record.
American honey. It's like a liqueur.
Allegedly. There's no documentation of this.
Legit. This was my experience coming into this band. And I've loved them ever since.
And Mike and I just kept saying, this happens all the time.
We were like,
It's gonna be fine.
This was a normal thing.
He's going to wake
Then
up
I came,
tomorrow.
I came down the next day and I said, I'm sorry.
I really love you guys.
Yeah, you did a whole
really
thing. I'd love to be back in the band if you guys would have me.
Z,
John was not happy with
Z
you.
is very attached to giving speeches that start with, "May I say something?" And then just to get the attention. So we're used
I
to
mean,
his
if everybody
speeches.
out there in podcast land hasn't ascertained this by now, I am a big, dumb asshole.
But he's our asshole.
Exactly. And that's kind of this is just a place of comfort. And I love these guys dearly. And can I say something?
Yes.
Yes. I love you guys dearly.
Thank you. That's usually how it goes. That's the speeches.
We love you too.
So we're up here in Columbia, home of lots of great places to eat. Do you guys have, is there like when you guys do make it up here and for these summits or band practices and whatever they might be, do you guys have a particular place?
Always
that
in CJ's.
Dude,
CJ's?
Ozark
CJ's.
Mountain Biscuit Bar
Yes,
was fantastic.
it was phenomenal.
This morning we ate there today. The service was phenomenal. The atmosphere was phenomenal. Mike started throwing grapes at people.
I did
thought
do
that was
that.
juvenile.
It
And we
was.
apologize if there's any rogue grapes that they had to
There was
clean up,
one. There
but
was one.
Was there? Okay, yeah, that place was fantastic. Really loved it.
Zach ripped a tremendous fart.
Zach farted really loud during the meal. It was
Yeah, we weren't going to bring that up.
It was in
man.
public and it was awkward.
Jono's got his finger on
Jono's
the
a chef. I think he should answer this
world-class
question,
chef.
John. What's the
Yeah.
good food here?
And wise guys, we always end up getting an untouchable.
We
while we're here.
do. We do always get a giant
I also
pizza
got
at least
hepatitis
once.
there.
John is a world-class chef, and he's made some dynamite meals here for us as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we didn't get to go out for the first couple of them just because everything was closed because it was literally in the middle of lockdown.
John cooked us a carbonara. It was incredible.
That was really good.
I was also drunk off my ass too, though. It couldn't have been that great.
That was great.
No, it was pretty good.
he
It was better,
cooks good
it was
drunk.
better than Jason's Pico de Gallo.
That was terrible. I'm sorry for that, guy.
That was offensive.
I'm really
That was
sorry, guys.
offensive to everybody.
I knew there'd be some sort of controversy as soon as I
Yeah.
mentioned.
I don't even eat Pico, and I could just looking at it like that looks like shit.
So we threw it away. And
My knife
remade
cuts
it,
were
but,
bad.
What do you like to eat in town?
Paolo and I go to Sycamore a lot. It's down on Broadway. It's a really, really good restaurant. But there's a handful depending on what you want. Cafe
What's the
Berlin's.
Mexican place we usually hit late night?
The one where Z ordered chicken fries.
Yes, he thought. Yes.
Oh, Las Margaritas downtown.
You like?
Yeah.
This dude ordered chicken fries.
Oh, at the Tin Can, where we
Thought
used
they were
to-
like
It is,
burning
it is,
old
Old
yeah.
chicken.
Tin Can. What used to be the Tin Can?
Well, that's all I wanted. I wanted like fried. Like,
He wanted
chicken
French
tenders.
fries. And
Yeah,
he ordered chicken by accident.
that's not true. I knew there was chicken in it.
Did he?
But yeah, actually, that was another funny one. Las Margaritas was the Tin Can, and that's where we went a couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
I missed the Tin Can, man. That place was such a fun. We had so many fun nights there. It's the only venue that I've ever played where we drank them out of whiskey the night we played a show there. Like, not just us, but the people that were like there to see us too. We like went up there. And
Oh,
were
really?
like,
I don't recall you being 21 at the time.
I don't think you were 21
I
at the
didn't drink
time.
them out of whiskey.
Yeah, I
I
don't
was
think you were.
responsible.
And you weren't
Okay.
invited
To be
anywhere.
fair, I wasn't
so
either.
the Tin Can, we went we did the open mic every Monday for like an entire summer.
It was great.
Just kept doing it every week. And the first Monday there was like 3 people there, and by the end there was a couple hundred that would show up, and it turned into too much of a party, you know. And
But I would say
ultimately,
that's where we got our start.
yeah, that kind
definitely
of
cut our chops
developed
there.
our grassroots
Yeah.
following.
Shout out
It was a
Nigel.
really cool place too because they did it was Build a Band, so they had
yeah.
a drum kit
That dude
there
covered
and they had like a
Shakira.
full setup, so you could like bring an entire band to an open mic instead of just being like a singer songwriter
Yeah.
or something.
So
like
we would
that.
like play songs, but then also we would just jam and like
Sometimes
people
nobody
come
would be
up
there,
and-
so we just play all night.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
We met Miles there. Rapper used to live in town.
Met Brad Cunningham there. I did, and
Nigel.
fiddle player.
Nigel,
Chris.
Anthony Richardson. That's the quarterback.
Quarterback for,
Anthony
for
Wilkerson.
the
Anthony
Bulls.
Wilkerson.
He's had season-ending
Shout out
surgery.
Anthony. Sorry, buddy.
He'll be back next year.
Get well
Better than
soon.
ever.
Yeah. We do have the release party, but this won't be out before then. But what would be what's next for the group? What do you guys see with this record? I mean, are we going to try to do a couple more of these, or
I hope so.
see how?
We'll probably start talking about that Sunday
Right.
after the show. So.
Yeah.
Unless I quit the band.
It's been a fun. So I think we've been able to keep doing this because we've been really good about like setting a goal, something that's that we can manage with our busy lives, and not having really a timeline. Just like this is what we want to do, and then we do that, and then we do the next thing. So it's not like there's any like this is where we we kind of when we got back together we said we want this to be something that's joyous and doesn't add really any stress to our lives.
Right.
So if it's adding any stress, we're going to cut it.
Sure.
And we've been very.
I think
we've taken that to heart for sure.
me,
so.
it's just been so cathartic to just have this outlet. And I don't think Marianne the Giant needs to be anything concrete. I don't think we need to have set plans. I think, when inspiration strikes you or...
I mean, you literally have to have set plans to accomplish anything, but...
I wish you wouldn't correct me on air. I just think Mike's absolutely right. It is joyous. It is cathartic. It is brilliant. It is something that maybe you took for granted 10 years ago, but nowadays you're so thankful, and I'm so thankful for these guys. And I guess at the end of the day, I just hope we're still friends. And
yeah, that was part of the initial reaching out to, is just like, I miss just our camaraderie and the energy of the four of us in a room together. It was really that simple. It's like,
Tom Cruise and the Last Samurai is a part of the band now.
he
over
wasn't
there.
then. It was for
Okay.
then.
Jesus.
Now we're 5.
Now we're 5.
I would say to the point of Z mentioning the catharsis too. I think for me there was a real sigh of relief in like writing these songs and then also cutting this album, because I know this is something that John and I have talked about before, but the way the band ended and the last album that we put out was not something that I think any of us were really happy with. I mean, obviously the band breaking up the way it did was unfortunate, but the last album we recorded, we had an original version that had Zach's vocals. Once he left, we re-added vocals from the current, the lead singer then, and it became this really bizarre hodgepodge. It's something that I really rarely, if ever, find myself listening to. And this album was the album that the band was always meant to make, and we got to make it on our terms and write songs that really meant a lot to us. And for me, that was so satisfying, because this project deserved to fit, to have something like that. After everything that happened, and it was the album that we always should have made. So it made me really, really excited to hit that point. I mean, I think the first time we all played, in a room together, I was almost in tears, by the end of it. Like, it was just this otherworldly feeling to be not only back in the room with these guys and playing music again, but that it was still there. Like, it was like we hadn't skipped a practice in 10 years, and that was unreal.
Yeah.
Zach was in tears for a different reason that night, but
I hope everybody out there in podcast land understands how much I'm abused.
That's gaslighting.
And I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that all the insane amount of work that John has put into promoting this show. He basically ran the social media for everything. He got flyers. He got shirts made. So I couldn't be more thankful to all the
Shout out
work
John
and
Marino.
effort that he put into this. And I don't think the show would be anywhere as awesome as it's going to be tomorrow. With
I want to be clear also that Zach did nothing.
Zach, but to be fair, Zach said from the get-go, I'm not doing anything.
Shane, I was very clear. I said, guess what? I'm not doing anything. So
To be clear, he didn't have to make that. We already knew that.
Yeah.
All right.
you guys still keep asking me back. So
On that note,
Yeah. All right. Well, get plugged in with Mary and the Giant on your Facebook, Instagram, maryandthegiant.com. And you can find it streaming digitally on all your favorite platforms. Do we have any physicals or anything for the party? Or
John burnt several CDs.
Nice. Got some bootleg ones?
We got some bootlegs, and then we also are planning on doing some run of vinyls. We're trying to figure out exactly how many and when that will actually happen, but that will be coming out in the future, and we'll have them available on our website and via social media, etc.
Very cool. Yeah, that'd be sweet to have in the collection for sure.
Absolutely.
I know this guy is a bit of a collector.
Bit of an audiophile.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to get vinyl press so he could have one.
Right.
Oh, that's 100%.
That's why we're
And he
doing
wanted
it.
CDs so that his parents could have one.
Why do we do any of this if we don't want to listen to the music that we make?
Huh?
What do I give a shit? Other
Why does Johnny Depp not watch his own movies?
Why do your balls smell so bad?
Well, that I haven't found out. Now that I
It
haven't
smells
answered for.
really bad, dude.
I haven't showered in several
It
days.
smells like that vinegar hot sauce at the Biscuit Bar today. Shout out
Add
Biscuit
like
Bar.
a loose pepper in it.
One single loose pepper.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, thank you guys for doing this. Thanks for taking some time.
Thank you.
Thank
Shane,
you,
this was
Shane. You're the
awesome.
man, dude. Love talking to you.
This was a lot of fun. Yeah, man. All right. Bye, everybody.
bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for coming to our show.